How did you maintain your humility throughout it all, though, Dallas? I mean, you're a young prodigy in this thing going crazy and changing the game and dominating the charts at the same time. What was your center that kind of kept you from losing your mind and acting a fool? Or was you acting a fool?
No, man. I didn't start acting a fool later. We was already done and doing it then.
Yeah.
No, I was so like still in my own world. You know what I'm saying? Like I was able to quickly get me in the studio when I started Dark.
Yeah.
And that became like just heaven for everybody. That became like a center, you know. So I was spending so much time there. Like I didn't even leave the country till I was like 27. You know. So I wasn't even traveling nowhere. I was just Atlanta, maybe go to LA and New York, but I was Atlanta. And I was just like, man, I would see people turn into other stuff. Like I would see them get arrogant. I would see them, you know, and I would see it, you know, only way when you get that far up, you got to come down. You can climb down or you can fall. Like,
ooh!
But you're going to, you know, usually if you climb down, you can climb yourself back up.
Yeah.
You know, that slam though on you, you get slammed out all kind of ways. But it's going to happen. You don't stay up forever. But that's what I, you know, and like I said, I always wanted to sustain myself for a long time. And I'm like, if I'm going to do that, I got to stay back off the radar. I got to be like, you know, I would be in places and I'm supposed to go meet with someone in a hotel lobby. And these old white men are standing there and they're waiting on Dallas. And I'm standing right next to him, right? Because all they heard was I'm pretty and pink and all that. So it's no way I'm supposed to be me.
Yeah.
They're looking for, you know, a producer, this old white dude, a quick see somebody. But so I would like that. I would like, and that was going on at a young age too. I was doing so much music in Europe and places like that. That, you know, that's how I ended up getting, you know, we were heavy songwriters. That's how I got in the Hall of Fame. Was like, it's only 140 people in the Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Come on.
You know, me and JD.
And so two of them out of Atlanta. My God, that's ridiculous.
Same hood, since we've been doing it since we were friends, since we were little.
Oh, my God. So when it comes to being a songwriter, though, Dallas, what was the song that you really felt like you just wrote the hell out of that song? Or what was the song that meant the most to you personally, where you just kind of poured it all out in there?
Probably like, I mean, Unpretty is one of them. Then, you know, really Creep was one of them because it was really, you know, you like, all my songs you write about stuff you done went through or stuff you're going through, but either, to me it was more like, well, all the shit she said I did, that's to hurt her feelings. Like, now, you know, I can flip it and say, well, this is how a girl feels she's a guy, and that's how I write TLC songs, that's how I write a lot of other people, like, girl songs, is because I would sit with them, talk to them, and then be able to understand, okay, you know, because you got to be able to admit and say, okay, yeah, you know what's wrong, that was a fuck up, I should have did something else, or maybe I should have did something better, and then there you got a song in there, you got to, you know, and then, but like, a lot of songs, like, I'll get in trouble for some songs. Dudes would be like, come on, dude. Like, hit 'em up style.
Hit 'em up style, Blue Catrell. Yeah. Let's send us to the poorhouse.
You know, man. But learning how to make, doing that era, too, is about how do I make the girls cool?
Yeah.
And to be cool, you got to adopt kind of a dude's mentality.
Yeah,
And, you know, to have that girl enough power or that attitude enough to be that way.
Exactly. Know? What was that point or that tipping point where you finally felt like you made it and that you knew that you was going to be able to stay in the industry for a long time? Or did you never get comfortable in the game?
I never really got comfortable. I was like, I would go through, what I would do is, if I felt like I wasn't tuned in enough or feeling this type of music enough to be dope at it, you know, I might could do something at it, but I don't know. I want to be on top at something. So let me go over here where ain't nobody at, you know.
Yeah.
So then, you know, I said, well, let me go do like Pink and Gwen Stefani and do all these other stuff that makes me in that arena the cool guy.
Exactly.
Right? Over here it could be crowded. Like at one point, you know, like especially with a lot of Atlanta music and a lot of R&B music and stuff like that, got to the point where it was just on that thing.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's Neptunes, it was Timbaland's, it was that, it was this, it was that. It was like, and everything was just rolling there, and then everybody's sound had such a signature to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, well, I never had a signature sound, so I'm not really going to win in that way. So I got to stay in my songwriting lane and then just make sure my production is up.
Exactly. Working with folks like Madonna, Duran, and Gwen and all of those people, what was the difference in the checks between the R&B and the hip hop and then being able to cross over with the music?
Oh, tremendous. Like,
And how did that affect you mentally when you was thinking, I'm doing the same thing, I'm just doing it for a different genre?
Because, like if you got somebody like, a great song is always going to be a love song, or always going to have, like, it's only 8 ways to tell a story. Mm-hmm. If you trend it or date it, it's going to stay there, right? But if you just make it classic, so I love you is always going to be said. So, I would look at the songs like The Pink, Just Like a Pill, and the songs that would just be huge worldwide songs. A lot of times I would do the same overseas as I would do in America, and a lot of people do either a lot in America, not that much overseas.
Yeah.
A lot overseas and not that much here. And that's one of the things I was able to transcend, both just the world with the melodies and songs and stuff that I was being influenced from over there and over here too. So it's like taking pieces of stuff that you thought people, I guess they call them algorithms now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's taking pieces of things you thought people would be familiar with and just putting a gumbo to it, as you call it, to mix it all together. And then you just see what you come up with. But you never know. Like, even when you go in the studio, whether it's now or whether it's then, the best part about it is you have no idea what you're going to do.
What do you think it was inside of you that allowed you to maximize your gift and your talent?
Really just like the freedom to kind of bob and weave my career. When I started Rowdy, I was like, okay, well, I can do Aretha Franklin's and all that stuff over here, but over here I could just do anything I want. Just like, I can have Fishbone signed over here.
Yeah.
I can have, Backwoods signed over here. So it was like, that was like my playground to me. And that's what, then having the stores and stuff here, and then having Rowdy as a part of the alternative element of Atlanta, that gave me, like, that pacified my, because anytime I felt like I was in any too much of any kind of box, man, it just like tossing and turning. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to do something else. And coming up in that time, especially, they were like, if you do this, that's what you do.
Yeah.
So I was able to just kind of transcend it by just like, okay, let me pick the right artist and do the right songs to show them I could do it just as well as the white producer, just as well as the rock producer,